Sir, good morning, sir. Hari, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Dr. Girish.
How are you, sir? Welcome back,
Yeah.
sir. Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Audible and clear.
Oh,
How are you doing, sir?
yeah, doing good, going well. So, how is your program is going on?
Yeah, program is quite going well, sir. All the speakers and all the participants
Okay,
are going well.
great.
We will start in some time, sir. 5 minutes.
Yeah, we
Thank
will
you.
wait for 5 minutes, then we can start.
Oh, right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mari sir, hello.
Yes.
Sir,
Yeah.
we'll start slowly, then rest of the participants will join shortly. Okay,
Yeah.
sir. Thank you.
Okay.
A very good morning, one and all, to the participants from various places, and I would like to welcome you all once again to this AICTE sponsored online 1 week shorter training program on soft computing techniques in civil engineering, structural, water resources, geotechnical, remote sensing, and transportation applications. As a part of AICTE program, we have entered to the day 4 session 1 program. Today we have an expert and a speaker, Dr. Mari Swaminathan. I would like to, I'm so honored to introduce Dr. Mari Swaminathan. Dr. Mari Swaminathan did his BE in Civil Engineering at Government College of Engineering and Technology, Anna University, obtained his Master's in Transportation Engineering at College of Hindi at Anna University, and later he obtained his PhD in Transportation Systems Engineering at IIT Bombay. Later, he has started his career as a research associate and project scientist during the year 2017-18 at IIT Bombay, and he has even worked as a postdoctoral research fellow in the year 2018 at SUTD MIT International Design Center, Singapore, and currently is working as assistant professor in the Department of Civil Engineering at National Institute of Technology, Tiruchirappalli since 2018 April. Dr. Mari research interests includes road safety and accident analysis, traffic engineering and management, pedestrian and road driver behavior modeling, faculty design, facility design and evaluation, traffic operation and simulation, freight demand modeling. Adding to that, Dr. Mari is also very active in conducting various sponsored research projects as well as consultancy projects, like the development of traffic safety evaluation tool using surrogate safety measure, which is granted by NIT Trichy under SEED grant, road safety audit Madurai Ring Road, Tamil Nadu Road Infrastructure Development Corporation, which is completed in the year 2019, and many more. He has quite number of publications in various reputed national and international journals, also presented conferences at national level and international level. Adding to that, he is also an active member of various societal bodies. Dr. Bari also played an important role and playing an important vital role in various administrative responsibilities and academic responsibilities and at NIT Trichy since 2018. He has developed a curriculum for PhD scholars named as Transportation Logistics. Currently, Dr. Madi is guiding 3 scholars and guided 12 plus PG dissertations and many more UG projects. Adding to that, Dr. Mari also have a couple of international visits like Singapore University of Technology and Design in the year 2018, National University of Singapore, NUS during the year 2018, University of Marato, Sri Lanka on July 2017, and TRB annual meeting Washington DC, and many more. He has been invited and been given so many guest lectures and keynote speaker in various national, multinational universities and colleges. Adding to that, he has also been a member and committee member in various workshops and conferences, national, international. Dr. Mari is also recognized with various significant awards like award Yeah, very sorry for the interruption. Yes. Dr. Mari is also significantly awarded various significantly recognized with this award for faculty fellowship with University of design for the 19 and award from Association of Professional of Indian origin during the year 2017 and so on. He also he reviewer kindly very excuse me because of some technical issues I was able to disconnect it. Thank you, sir, for your acceptance. I would like to hand over the session to you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, Dr. Girish. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, sir. It is audible and screen is
Screen is
visible.
visible, right?
Yes, sir. Screen is visible.
Okay. So a very good morning to everyone. And today, so we are going to discuss about the upcoming applications of various software in transportation engineering. So before moving to the presentations, why we have to focus on this particular topic in the today and the tomorrow, what we can say, the workshop. So the main application is of the particular software is everybody knows that it is a kind of a model making. So whatever issues are happening, it is highly difficult to go on the field to study about the particular issues to apply that remedial measures, and we can see how whether it is success. So this is the things, it is highly difficult. So because when we are planning to provide the solutions, it is need an iterations process. You might be providing some design, but it is not fulfilling in with respect to the 100% success. That time you have to redesigns and remodel again, you have to reapply on that particular field. So this kind of the trial and error basis identifications of solutions for solving that particular issues on the field level is highly difficult, complicated, and slightly it is not possible. So to avoid those kind of that issues, so we have created various software. So this is the main things why we have to study about the software instead of considering the whole population. So how the sample can has been taken with respect to the sample, how the issues are studied, and the solutions are identified in the optimal or the best manner by utilizing that particular software. So with this respect to that motivations, this is an outline of today presentations as well as the tomorrow workshop. Basically, we will start and study with respect to that transportations engineering, since the today is the first opening session for the transportations engineering. So we will quickly discuss about the transportations engineering issues and the various solutions. Once we understand about the transportations engineering with respect to the different classifications, what are the research scope are there as a transportation planner and engineer, so that we can discuss in that second part. Then the third and the final part, we can see what are the available software are there. So different kind of the classifications, with respect to the classifications, what are the software are there, with respect to the advantage and the disadvantage, we can cover in the today presentation. Finally, we can see the application of Enlogic and the Wisdom software in the today afternoon lectures. So we can see and we can work on like a hand and practice. We try to explore the Enlogic software, how we are applying for the transportations planning purpose. In the tomorrow class, we can quickly cover the applications of Wisdom and how it is working. If it is possible, we will go with the hand-on, or it is a kind of a demonstrations. We can see the applications of Wisdom software. So this is an outline of our presentations, which we are going to cover for next 3 lecture. Let me start with the initial introductions. So basically the system, so everybody knows that the system is nothing but the combination of all the attribute. So when we are talking about the one network system, what are the data are involved, what are the activities are involved, what are the entities are involved to creating that particular system. So with respect to that input and various attribute, how we are achieving our specific goals and the objective that is considering us in a particular system. So it is a generalized definitions for that system. But when it is coming to the transportations, how the systems are defined. So the transportation system is nothing but the combination of a different mode. It might be the airline or the airways, waterways, railways, as well as the roadways are there. So the combination of all the ways, in that ways also, if you're going the micro level, you might be able to see different classifications. Example, when we are talking about the road, we have that buses, two-wheelers, okay, truck. So different kind of the classifications are there. So all the things are considered in that particular transportations mode. In that mode, we have the different things. When we are talking about the road, signalized intersection, unsignalized intersection, foot overbridge, flyover bridge, okay. So all these things are considered together when we are trying to develop that system that is considering as a transportation system. So the transportation system is nothing but the combination of all the modes as well as all the ways to achieve our goal. Our goal is to make the smooth flow when you are making your journey from your origin to the destinations. In that particular point of view, if you are providing and it is fulfilling the requirement, that is considering as a perfect transportation system. So basically the transportation system is giving the major role for the four categories. One is the economic. Yes, obviously it is giving the input for that economic of that India or the any other country. It is developing and creating the social and cultural interactions between the people as well as the road users. So the political things also playing the major role, particularly when it is coming to the military purpose. The finally it is giving that major role for that environmental conditions. So this is the four major role of transportation systems, how it is giving contributions for the society as well as the government. So with respect to the things which is we discussed in the previous slide, this is the different kind of the modes. So all together we are considering as a mode of the system: highways, airways, waterways, airways, and the roadways. And each ways, when we are talking about the highways, it has a way. That means we have construct the road. It might be the pavement road or the flexible road. Different kind of the vehicles are there. It might be the motorized vehicle, non-motorized vehicle, electrical vehicle, or the autonomous vehicle. Then the terminal, the stations, and the parking area. The control, as I told, that signalized intersection or the signboard and all. So all this together, it is considering as a components of the mode. So likewise, each modes has this component. Finally, here we are playing the major role, how the planning has been done, evaluations has been done with respect to the design, constructions have happened, we applied for the operations, finally the maintenance happened for that particular facilities. So this is the development of that each components, how the stage one by one it has happened. So all these three together, what we have provided on the field, that is considering as a transportation system. So this is the definition of the transportation system. I hope everybody is getting in a clear knowledge. So with respect to that, this is a generalized definitions of the transportation engineering. Example, if you want to transfer goods or the passenger from the one place to the another place, so that is considering as a transport, that is named transportation. To transfer all the goods and the passenger, what are the science and the technology we have adopted on that field, that is considering as a transportation engineering. So nowadays we have that advanced facilities. Example, the MacLeod technologies are there, mass rapid transit systems are there. These are the things coming under the transportation engineering. The main purpose for providing this transportation systems or the engineering is to provide the accessibility. So it has to access all the land use pattern and all the areas like a village or the rural area or the cities or the town. So all the things the people has an accessibility or the connectings we have provided with respect to the provided facilities. Then the movement efficiency, mobility, providing the things does not matter, but how efficiently we have provided. We have to check the actual demand. It has to fulfill the demand. According to that, we are providing the facilities. And the major things are the space utility, time utility, and the quality utility. So this is the main things why we need to provide the proper transportation system, but by considering the accessibility and the movement efficiency. So when we are talking about the research as well as the softwares, so mainly we have to consider the what is the demand. With respect to the demand, how efficiently it is fulfilling the requirement. Those kind of the simulations and analysis we can perform by using the various software, as well as the accessibility. So you can design your road network or your particular city. Example, the Hyderabad city. From the Hyderabad city, how the accessibility are there. When we are trying to simulate the traffic and all, how the delay congestions are there with respect to the given road network. So all the main things are we have applied and understood by adopting that simulations or the various other software in the point of planning. Okay. So this is a brief introductions about the transportations engineering, and it has a three classifications: the transportations planning, traffic engineering, and the payment technology. And we have the various software with respect to these three major areas. So we can able to see plenty of transportation planning software engineering, as well as some of the limited payment technology software also. So that we can see in the second part of today's presentation. So the traffic engineering, so very quickly I will give. So it is an understanding and study about the present conditions. If you want to adopt some software and if you want to study about the traffic engineering, what we are going to study. One example is it is in a delay. So when you're traveling on that particular city, in the Hyderabad, you are traveling during your peak hour. Okay, morning office hour 8:30 or the 9 o'clock you are traveling. So it is an office hour, so many congestions are happen. So 4-lane roads are there in a 5-kilometer stretch, and it is facing a lot of congestions. So you have to design that existing road as well as the given volume. What will be the congestions that is you are generating using that existing model, and you are comparing with that field congestions, and again you are remodifying your model. So once the model is calibrated, we are trying to adopt some of the solutions. In case if you are extending the road width, in case if you are providing the extra 2 lanes, then again you are simulating the volume, then you are comparing with the congestions value. If you are expanding the 2 lane, what will be the congestions? Without expansions, what is the congestions? That means actual congestions, and we are comparing. So the congestions are reduced, then what we have proposed, that means the extension of the road width, that is fulfilling that particular requirement. So this is one study with respect to the traffic engineering, how the congestions can be modeled, calibrated, and how it is checked with respect to that various solutions. Like that, we can study for the various issues. Example, safety with respect to the accident. One particular intersections, accidents are continuously happen. Okay, so actually it is an uncontrolled intersection. If you want to avoid that accidents, you are proposing the signalized intersection. So you are designing the signal in that simulations or the given software, and if you're generating and checking how the accidents probability has been changed. So these kind of the studies also can be applied in the traffic engineering field. So this is an overview. What is the present conditions? With respect to the present conditions, how we can make and calibrate the model, and what are the solutions we can provide, that is covered under the traffic engineering. Next will be the planning. So planning, actually it is a baseline. What is the base conditions, and what will be the conditions after 50 years? So after 50 years, what will be the conditions? So projections we are making, and with respect to the projections, how the city's growth has or happened, that we are trying to simulate on it. So this is in a transportation planning view, and here we can, two things are playing the major role. One is the statistical, so the projections in the sense it is the forecasting, sir. How the forecastings are happen when we are talking about the pedestrian, how the forecastings are happening with respect to the bicyclist. So here statisticals are playing the major role. Second, as well as when it is coming to the projections, how the cities are simulated in that macro level, so that is also studied in the planning area. So this is a two different kind of the things, how the traffic and the transportation is planning, and what are the things we can cover, and what are the softwares available that we can see in the further discussions. So these are the some of the selected mode, and these are the some of the issues we can able to see: congestions and the delay, accident, and the pollutions, growth of the vehicle. Even we can develop the pollutions model also. So that is coming under the statistical evaluation. So these are the some of the listed current problem, as well as the behavior also playing the major role. Example, these are the human behavior. So here you can see how the illegal parking are happen, how the violations are happen, and there is a no sufficient area for waiting area. Again, the pedestrian violations are happen, and this is the overflow, and this is a contra flow. It is coming in the reverse, how the contra flows are happen, and this is a sidewalk which we have provided, still the two-wheelers are using. So what is the issues with the provided roadway width in that particular field? So these are the some of the loop, or we can say the conditions, how it is existing with respect to that behavior. So when we are talking about the simulations or the software and all, it is not only to simulate or study about the facilities what we have provided. We have to study and understand about the behavior of that particular road users also. That will give the major contributions when it is coming to the planning as well as the traffic. Next will be the design. So improper design. So this is a refuge island, but there is a no refuge island. Due to this kind of the designs, how the safety issues are happened, that can be studied using the simulation software. So next, these are the some of the issues, how when we are constructing without a proper plan, how the issues are happened, and with operational and management. So we know the volume, and with respect to that volume, whether we have provided the facilities or not there, some obstacles or the encroachments are there in that particular area, how the social force models has been changed, those kind of the analysis we can see to solve the operations and management related issues. When it is coming to the traffic control and management, we can study and discuss about the applications of the science boards and the marking, bus base or the road base. And this is slightly with respect to the lack of enforcement, which is not incorporated in any of the software. So example, if 30% of the violations are happened, when we are trying to simulate how the violations are neglected or to be considered when we are trying to that simulations, that should be considered when it is coming to the simulation. So this is the things we can discuss with respect to the human factors as well as the design factors. So whenever a research comes, so we have to focus in the two directions. So your research might be narrowed down in particular area, but the aspect should be in the two directions. How the road users behaviors are there. Example, when we're talking about the lane changing behavior, how the lane changing behavior has been considered. So without that lane changing behavior, how the smooth flows are given. So the lane changing behavior has been considered with respect to the two aspects, the facilities what we provided or the corridor what we have considered. The second will be the behavior. So maybe the adult or the older persons or the male and the female. So with respect to that social characteristics, how the behavior of the lane changing happen on that particular field, that can be also studies and incorporated together for bringing that particular solutions of that issues. So this is the two aspect we have has to consider when it is coming to that research aspect. And further slide, I will very quickly float that area and the topic what we can focus on it. Then we can move how to achieve this research topic by adopting various software in that given three aspect. So when it is coming to the research, as I told that to the traffic engineering, so mainly the traffic engineering, we are focusing on the current problem. So what is the existing conditions, okay, to make the safe and efficient flow, what are the issues are we are facing and what are the things we need to consider when it is coming to the research that should be studied under the traffic engineering. And the main objective of the traffic engineering software is traffic engineering research is to achieve efficient, free, and the rapid flow of that particular traffic in the given area to reduce or avoid that accidents. So basically, when it is coming to the traffic engineering, so these are the main scope, 5 scope area we can focus on it. One is the traffic study and analysis, operations and the control, geometric design. So the horizontal alignment and the vertical alignment, what is the slope, elevations. So those things has to be considered under the geometric design. Then the administrations and the management. Finally, the second categories of planning and the analysis. So when it is coming to the traffic studies, we have to study about the volume, speed, delay, queue, parking, what is the demand and the supply, origin and the destination studies, all those things considered under the traffic studies. Based on that given or the collected data, we can study about the capacity and the level of service. Also, we try to simulate all those things. Example, when we are talking about the traffic volume in that particular area, so with respect to the field, what is the traffic volume in that particular area by considering the different things. The same when we are trying to adopt in the simulations, how the models are working, how the things are calibrated, so that we can modify that calibrated model. So this is one example of the traffic study, particularly the traffic volume projections for the future conditions. So these things can be done in the Vism software that we can see in the tomorrow class, how the calibrations we can do with respect to the Vism modeling. So the next one will be the traffic control and operations. It is a simple understanding. One example, if you're providing the traffic signal. So when you are providing the traffic signal, we have the traffic signal time. It might be the 60-second or the 120-second. How the signal times are designed with respect to that volume. So that is a one example we can study about the conditions and we can control and we can give the operations for that field condition. So this kind of the research is one example under this particular area that can be also done when it is coming to the micro level simulation software. Also, we can consider the various priorities also in the particular road. If you want to give the priority for only bus route, how the bus priority is given in that particular signal design, that has been considered in that particular area. Then the geometric design, which we have discussed. So with respect to the horizontal or the vertical alignment, with respect to the dimensions, or with respect to the lane width, how the particular or complete geometric design has to be taking care with respect to the requirement of that particular city or that area. Then it is an administrative and management level. It leads to the exclusive research area, which is nothing but the ITS, Intelligent Transportation System. How we are adopting the various technology like a GPS, how the GPS devices or other advanced technologies are adopted to make the enforcement, and how the various algorithms are adopted to create the smart system. So these are coming under the administrations and the management. The final one will be the planning, which we already discussed. What will be the baseline? What is the future condition? To fulfill the future conditions, what kind of the solutions we can provide on the field, that is considering as a transportation planning. So these are the some of the topic under the planning. Planning, we can study about the personal car or the public transportations, commercial vehicle, also freight movement. So how the freight movements are happen, that is also we can study. So all these things are covered under the planning, and the main applications of the planning is to motivate the people to use the public transportation. So when we are talking about the planning, the main most of the research we can able to see how the public transportations are encouraged by providing various facilities. So here some of the topics which can be modeled and used with respect to the various software. When we are talking about the travel demand modeling, land use pattern, and the freight and all, it is required. Route choice behavior. So here we are designing that particular city, Hyderabad city. Suddenly in one particular area, some interruptions are happened due to that natural disaster or some other issues, or accident, that particular road is blocked. During that time, what are the other and alternative options to make the smooth flow? Those kind of the route choice behavior are analyzed by utilizing various optimization techniques as well as the some of the simulation tool. Also, we can perform the economical analysis, and we try to integrate that various facilities. Here I shown that port as a one example. But when we're talking about the railway station, there we have designed a multi-modal operations. Example, bus stops, taxi, railway station, as well as the pedestrian also considered. So all four mode together, if you want to integrate in that particular railway stations, what is the present conditions, what will be the future scenario, and what are the facilities we can provide. So that can be analyzed and studied using various software in the field of transportation planning. So this is with respect to the safety and the simulator. As I told that not only the facilities, we have to consider as the social characteristics also with respect to the young and older behavior, male or the female behavior, usage of the helmet and the seat belt. So these are all studied using the driving simulator. So driving simulators are there. Using the simulator, all this behavior of the drivers also studied. So not only the motorized transportations, we can consider the non-motorized transportations also. But basically, whatever the model we are doing with applications of the software or the without applications, so the data is mandatory task. Okay, so the data is playing the major role when it is coming to the transportations engineering, irrespective of payment or the traffic or the planning. And what are the data are required. So different kind of the data are required to create that simulations model. So one is the road network pattern. So what is the width of that particular road, and whether the medians are provided. If it is provided, what is the width of that median? Then the crosswalk marking are there, what is the design of that marking? So all the things has to be collected from the field. You have to go to the field and you have to measure that requirement of that geometric design, and we have to give it as an input. The second one will be the volume, pedestrian or the traffic volume, or with respect to your particular study. If you're studying about the speed, you have to collect the speed from the field by using that videographic or maybe the radar or the what we can say some other ultrasonic measures, so which can measure the speed of that particular vehicle on the field. So all this requirement has to be collected in the two aspects when it is coming to the studies. One is the field data about the traffic characteristics, traffic volume or the speed. If the queues are formed, what is a queue? So all this traffic characteristic has to be collected from the field. That will be the first one. The second one will be the geometric characteristics. So what is the existing lane width, okay, median width, signal time. When we are talking about the signal, what is the existing signal time? So all the things are collected from the field. So this is the two main data which plays the major role when we are trying to adopt the various software. Apart from that, this is related to the traffic. When it is coming to the planning, you need some of the secondary data. So that is the third one. The secondary data is playing the major role. Example, if you're studying about some particular city, Vijayawada, so what is the populations? That is the one thing. And what is the existing road network pattern? That can be collected as secondary data. So what is the existing accident profile for the past 5 years? Past 5 years, how many accidents are happen in Vijayawada with respect to the various road. So all this secondary data and available as well as the feasible secondary data has to be collected and considered when it is coming to the planning kind of the studies, which will give the input for that simulations, model calibrations and the validations. So this is the three things about the data, and whatever the slide which I have shown, that is one is with respect to the pedestrian study. So pedestrians, so the questionnaire survey as well as the videographic surveys are collected, geometric characteristic also collected, that can be simulated, the model can be developed in the Vism software. From that we have collected simulated data. That simulated data is compared with that field data, then we have calibrated the simulation model. So this is a one example for the pedestrian study. Two different kind of the data are collected and the simulated data has been extracted using the software. And these are the some of the research topic: walking speed or the crossing speed, arrival pattern, conflict, gap acceptance behavior, and all studied in the point of pedestrian, as well as the same studies can be adopted for that bicyclist also. And this is a little bit advanced how the pedestrians behavior has been studied. Pedestrian facilities, various different kind of the facilities are there. So one crossing the road, you might be study about the different kind of the applications. One is the subway. If you're providing the subway, how the conditions are there. Second scenario, if you're providing the foot over bridge, how the things are happen. Third, if you're providing the signalized intersections for the pedestrian, how the things are happen. So the pedestrian facilities also, the various scenarios can be what we can say tested using that simulations or the other software. So this is related to that pedestrian. So whatever the topic we have discussed so far, it is in a very brief manner with respect to the traffic in the field of the motorized as well as the non-motorized transportation. And we have quickly seen that data, how the data are playing the major role. Now we can move to the software. So as I told that when the issues are happened, practically it is not possible to apply the solution on the field and to check how it is fulfilling the requirement. So that is the reasons we try to adopt the various software. In the software itself, we try to analyze the various scenarios with respect to the provided solutions and which one will give the best solutions that can be adopted and applied on that particular field. So that is the thing we require the software, maybe the major applications of the software in the transportations engineering. As I told that three major divisions are there. One is the traffic engineering related software, transportations planning related software, and the payment technology related software. So this is a three main area. Apart from that, we have some of the statistical analysis tool. So instead of the simulations, some forecastings or some future projections, or if you want to study about the behavior, maybe you are accepting or rejecting. So those kind of the behavior, if you want to study, what are the softwares are available in the field of statistical, so that can be employed in the particular area. So in the further slide, I will show three example or the most widely used software in the three major fields: the traffic, planning, on the payment. Then we can go for some of the statistical important statistical terms. So before moving to that Enlogic software, we should understand some of the various statistical tool or the model development, how the models are developing. Then only we can able to get the clear picture of that output. So this is the two categories we can discuss in the further. So first one will be the traffic related software. The most widely used traffic related software is Vism. So because that is very user friendly software and easy to learn, and it has the connections with the various additional package we can modify as per your own requirement. So basically, it is referred as a PTV Vism. It is a microscopic software, simulation software. So basically, when it is coming to the simulations, we have the three different simulations. One is micro level simulation. Second will be the macro level, and third will be the mesoscopic. So when it is coming to the micro level, it is a direct term. So we are considering one particular problem and we are focusing in that particular problem, what will be the solution. Second, it is a macro level. So in the over broad view, how the things are happen. Then the meso. So meso is nothing but the middle of the micro and the macro. So example, I'm explaining with respect to the transportation engineering field. If you want to study about the transportation system in Hyderabad city, so that is considering as a macro level simulation study. The same Hyderabad city, you select one particular road. In that particular road, if you are choosing only one signalized intersection, and if you are studying about that one signalized intersections, how the systems are happening, that is considering as a microscopic analysis. Third will be the mesoscopic. It is not at a macro level or the micro level. You can take it as a one particular corridor in Hyderabad city itself. You just to take in one particular major area. In that particular area, how the transportation systems are working. So that is considering as a mesoscopic level. Example, you can consider as a 5 kilometer stretch. In that 5 kilometer stretch, 5 signalized intersections are there, 4 unsignalized intersections are there, and 2 bridges are there. So all the facilities together, how it is working. So that is considering as a mesoscopic level. So with these three classifications, we have the different kind of the simulation software. So I hope everybody is getting a clear knowledge with respect to the three kind of the simulation: macro, micro, and the meso level. When we're talking about that particular city level, that is considering as a macro. When it is coming to the one facilities signalized intersection, it is in a micro level. When it is coming to the one particular corridor, that is considering as a mesoscopic level. When it is coming to the traffic related, Vism, the most widely used software PTV Vism is considering as a microscopic simulation software. So it is specifically, it is taking as a one particular facilities or one particular mode. According to that, we are studying that particular areas, issues, and the solutions. So this is a standard traffic simulation software which is used by the 2,500 cities in the worldwide. So here we can simulate the different kind of that mode, like a vehicle. It might be the car or the two-wheeler, or it might be the what we can say truck. Then the public transportation system, buses, cycle, pedestrian, auto rickshaws. So all the facilities can be simulated using that Vism software. Here we can give the priority rules. Example, I told that if you want to give the bus priority, so you can give the priority, and you assign and define the conflict area, that is also feasible. So you just specify some of the requirement to make the study related to the safety, that is also feasible in that particular area. And we can study about the signalized intersections. We can give a fixed signal time. Example 120 second, how the green time, red time, yellow time is given. With respect to the fixed signal time also we can analyze. With respect to the vehicle actuator programming also available based on the demand to how to simulate, control, and manage that particular signalized intersections, that is also feasible in that Vism software. And basically we can extract and work in the applications in the wider ranges in the Vism software, mainly traffic engineering, public transportations, urban planning. And these are the some of the selected scope. We can compare the geometric design of the junctions. We can try to study about the traffic development planning, capacity analysis. The roads are there. What is the volume? What is the capacity? How it is performing? Those kind of the analysis can be performed. traffic control system. As I told, that various signal time, you can do it, we can analyze it. You can study about the public transportation system. And final important one is parking studies. Wherever we are talking about that, parking is the main issue. In the wisdom, you can create that parking slot, or you can design that parking building or the terminal. We can study about the legal and the illegal parking also. So all the things are feasible and the possible when we are talking about the wisdom. So which is micro level simulations are happen, and we are bringing the various solution. And Visam, yeah, it is a simulate complex vehicle interactions also in the micro level, how the interactions between the two vehicles, car to car or the car to the buses. Even we can consider the pedestrians also, but with some of the limitation. Here we can give our requirement, what will be the demand and what will be the supply, and the behavior also we studied. Example, the lane changing behavior we have studied. Then we can simulate new form of mobility, and we can integrate that various software. The most important software is PTV Vism. So we can include and integrate that PTV Vism to make it as a planning tool also. And the output and all, it is very easy, and it is very flexible, and it is very easy to interpret the result. Example, what will be the travel time for that particular corridor, what is the queue. So everything you will get in a better manner when we are comparing with the other simulation software. So as I earlier told that it is a user friendly Vism software. So tomorrow when we are working on a hand-on practice, so we can able to see the applications of the Vism software, how it is user friendly. But it has a very limited disadvantage, because here the links has the limited capacity, and the priority rules are changing, particularly when we are talking about the pedestrians. So the pedestrian studies, it is not focused in that micro level in that particular software. So this is in a brief details about the Vism. So second one will the vis walk. So when we are talking about the Vism, so it has a little limitations and the disadvantage when we are talking about the pedestrian. At the same time, the PTV vis walk is developed, so which can be exclusively focused on the pedestrian, how the plannings are happen for the pedestrian facilities, and how to simulate the various pedestrians behavior in a normal conditions as well as the crowd condition. So those kind of the micro level studies and the research we can do using the Viswalk software. Here it is input is based on that our input. We are studying and understanding the pedestrian behavior from the field. We can give the actual behavior of the pedestrian. Example, if you want to give about the walking speed of the pedestrian of that particular locations, you might be collecting that speed of that pedestrian from the field, that you can give that actual conditions in that particular field. And you create that various social force model also in that particular things, how the opposite persons are coming, how the particular persons are reacting in that opposite person to avoid that conflict. So those kind of the actual representations and the modifications we can perform using that Viswalk software. And Vism as well as the Viswalk, it is giving the 3D representations of your environmental as well as your outcome solutions in that particular software. So these are the some of the scope which we can use using the Viswalk crowd capacity assessment, crowd simulations, okay, and to model the movement through the multi-story building. So you can construct the multi-story building, how the movements are there with respect to the pedestrian. When we are crossing that particular road, how things are there with violations, with the signal, without signal, with the marking, without marking. So to cross a street with respect to the various conditions, how the things are happened, that can be simulated and studied using the Viswalk software. Not only the corridor or the road, we can study about the train. So that with respect to the trains, how the boarding and alighting happen. With respect to the bus stops, so how the things are happen. So exclusively we can study with respect to the mode as well as the facilities. So these are the some of the scope, and it has a various advantage as well as the disadvantage. So it is replicating and analyze the human behavior, and this is one of the best software when we are trust when you want to simulate about the pedestrian facilities. Here we can give the various solutions and analyze with respect to improving the safety, particularly in the evacuations conditions. So because the study mainly focused on that crowd analysis. In the crowd analysis, what are the evacuations measures we can provide, how the evacuations are happen, that can be studied. So the things used with respect, because the both are developed with respect to the PTV, so each has a link each other, so we can give the input as well as the output for that each other software. So if in case if you're studying some problem in the PTV Vism, whatever the data or the output you are giving an extractions as an output, that output can be given as an input for that this particular Viswalk software. So those kind of the linking possibility has been provided under the PTV facilities. So here the disadvantages, it is not simulating the vehicular software and it is giving the complex mathematical example. So whatever the simulations it is doing in the software, it has some theoretical background in the background. So in that theoretical background, what are the modifications if you want to make it under mathematical formulations, it is highly difficult to reformulate that particular mathematical expressions. So that is giving the complexity here. The next and the final one will be the transit. Hereafter, I will very quickly cover the things. Transit is mainly focused with respect to the signal. So if you want to optimize the signal, so what is the things? Existing signal will be there, optimize the signal, and if you're giving the priority for the bus, how the bus priorities are happen. So those things happen and the simulations are happen with the point of the signal optimizations. Okay, so basically it is giving the designing, evaluations and modeling for single isolated road junctions, how it has happened. Also here we can give the what we can say mixed traffic conditions also feasible for all these three softwares. So when we are talking about the simulation, particularly when talking about the Indian conditions, we are following as a mixed traffic condition. So those kind of the changes we have to make on it, then we can get an output from that particular thing. So when we are talking about the transit, so we are exclusively studying about the intersections. It might be the signalized or the unsignalized intersection. The first main and foremost things we are studying about the optimizations of the signal time. Second, we can study about the different kind of the facilities. Only the bus priority if you want to give how the things are there. And coordinations. So in the corridor, four signals are there. How the coordinations are happen between the four signals. So that is also can be studied and it is giving the most advantage in the transit software. So still the non-motorized transportation facilities, how we are incorporating in that particular things, that is giving the complex in that particular software. So whatever we have seen so far, that is a three, which is related to the Vism, so the most widely used software in the micro simulation. Second, Viswalk, how the pedestrian consider when it is coming to the simulation. Third will be the transit, if you are particularly studying about the intersection with the coordinator or without coordinator, and with the signal or the without signal, how the strategies if you want to provide and the perform. And the transit software is the one of the best software to choose to adopt your research in that area. Next, I'm moving to the planning. When it is coming to the planning, the cube is the one of the most widely used software. So the cube, what exactly we are doing in the sense, we are trying to build a model and we are calibrating. And when it is coming to the future conditions, what is the solutions happen? That is, we are going to study in the cube software. Basically, when it is coming to the planning, so you might be aware the four stage: trip generation, distribution, origin and destinations, and the traffic assignment. So all this four stage model can be designed using the cube software. So to design the four stage model, you might be consider the various factors, example transportation networks, land use pattern and the population based on the present conditions. So the four stage typical models are designed and you collected the various output. This is based on the baseline. After 20 years, what are the changes happen with respect to the population? So it increased might be 30 percentage. Land use, example, the density is reduced or it is occupied more. And the network is changed from the different patterns are changed and the new things are happened. So considering that future scenario, what will be the four stage model that can be modeled and analyzed in the cube software? So basically, when it is coming to the planning, four-stage model is playing the major role. The four-stage models are calibrated and designed in the cube software. And when it is coming to that future scenario, by changing the demand or the different variable, how the 4-stage models are performing, that can be modeled and studied in the cube software. So basically it is giving the model assignment, and it is improving the quality and the changing the road network pattern when we are designing, and it is they view, edit and create the data for the public transport network exclusively. And you can change your parameter, not only land use and various factors. It is easy to change and analyze how the things are happening in that scenarios. And there is a no block box. We can give the GS capability and the flexibility in building a model. Mostly it is avoiding and reducing the human error when we are trying to model, because here two things are playing the major role. One is the field data that is given as an input or the secondary data, and the model exclusively depends on the mathematical approach. So that is the reasons. So here the human errors are less when compared with the other software, and various scenarios we can analyze and we can bring the various solutions. So this is the things. Cube has a different wager actually. So when we're talking about the car passengers, we have the cube. If you want to study about the freight exclusively, so we have the different kind of the package. When we are talking about the parking, so that is also has an different packages. So the cube has a different package which can be adopted for the different need of that researchers. So next one planning software is the BISM software. So this is also one of the software how the meso level we can perform that analysis. Here the traffic also we can analyze, and with respect to the land use pattern also how the modifications are happen when we are trying to adopt some of the policies and the strategies, how the things are changing, that is also can be considered. So as I told that when it is coming to the planning, the most priorities are giving, and the transportation planner as well as the engineers encouraging the road users to adopt the public transportation system. So the most of the researches are happened and focused toward the public transportation, and all the softwares is giving the priority and the most friendly manner when we are trying to adopt and apply the public transportation related services and the researches. So that is a things also adopted in the BISM software. The next and the final one is the Enlogic software. So it is a not a planning exactly. It is not a planning. It is a kind of the combination of the planning as well as a statistical software. Basically, the software is used for solving the transportation planning related researches and the issues. But the things what we are doing, it is a kind of the statistical performance. So here we are not doing any simulations kind of the studies, but we are doing the some of the various mathematical related analysis. So example, we have the various socioeconomic characteristics, we have the populations and the different kind of the traffic characteristics, and all this data has been given as an input. Based on that input, what are the output we can get by adopting various mathematical approach, that is the things we are studying in the Enlogic software. So one example is that planning related. So if you want, if you're using the motorized vehicle, and if you want to change to the electrical vehicles, or if you want to change to the car, so how the human behaviors are there by considering the various parameters. So the problems what we are studying, it is related to the planning, but the software what actually it is doing in the sense, it is giving the probability and the possibilities of people changing one mode to the another mode. Those kind of the output we can get it from that Enlogic software. So this is the things. So Enlogic is a planning related software, but the working is related to the statistical related. So mostly, okay, it is solving the statistical related and mathematical related approach. It is very easy to use, flexible and extensive statistical solutions. We can get it from your data. Also, it can be integrated. So if you want to create your own coding, and if you want to develop and solve as per your own requirement of that mathematical model, that is also feasible and the possible in that Enlogic software. So these are the scope, basically the model estimation and the data analysis. You might be having the data, and if you want to develop the model, okay, so what is the model estimations and what are the analysis we can perform with respect to the things that is feasible here. It is a statistical analysis, and we can get the various graphical representations, count data related model. So count data in the sense, example, the Poisson's model, Poisson distributions, binomial distributions, those kind of the counting data also can be feasible. As I told, the programming. So if you want to create your own programming, and if you want to simulate or model it, that is also feasible here. Time series, multi-nominal choices, so many things are available. So in the afternoon sessions, I will show all the things how can be implemented and applied on the field. So very quickly, I will give what are the payment softwares are there. So one is the CanPay software. So CanPay software, it is calculating the stress, strain, and the deformations in the flexible as well as the rigid payment. It is used to model typical flexible as well as the rigid payment structure. So that is the applications of the CanPay software related to the payment technology. Then the IIT Pay, same. If you want to design the road, what will be the total thickness of the payment structures can be studied. Okay, so individual structural components can be estimated with respect to the different kind of the loading. So that is also feasible. We can consider the prevailing the climatic conditions also. So this is the IIT Pay software. Then the HTM4 software, this is also same, but here it is related to the management. So how the analysis, planning, management, and appraisal of the road maintenance, improvement, and investment decisions are happened. So those kind of the applications and the purpose can be fulfilled using the HTM4 software. The final one will be the statistical related software, which we covered in the previous, what we can say, STTP. So SPSS, statistical package for the social science. So how the model, various mathematical models are developed and the analyzed using your data. So this is the one related to the statistical software. So here we have discussed about the first part of today presentation. So what will be the actual transportations engineering and the systems working on the field, and various quick issues we have covered, and what are the what we can say research we can focus on that particular area with respect to the motorized and the non-motorized transportation system. So the very briefly we have seen that content in the first one. The second we have discussed about that software. So we have divided into the three major area: traffic planning and the payment. And very quickly I given the name of that software and what is the applications of that particular software. And each software, sir, the main application is there to bring the solutions by analyzing the various scenarios or the policies what you want to provide. So according to that, we have provided that facilities. So this is the brief introductions or the fundamental knowledge we have gained from the first presentations from the today's session. The second part is the mainly we are going to focus on the two software. If the time permit, we can see in the detailed manner of the Visum software, but the micro level studies we are going to see in the Enlogic software. So as I told that the Enlogic is mainly used to solve the transportations planning related issues by developing various mathematical model. So it is slightly different from the SPSS software. In the SPSS, we can do all the software, but when it is coming to the logic model, so Enlogic is providing the best solutions with respect to the outcome as well as the interpretations as well as the users friendly manner. So that is the reasons the planning software, when it is coming to the logic particularly, so the Enlogic software can be adopted. So basically, I told that here the mathematical is playing the major role. So whatever, when we are talking about the statistical, so the mathematical is playing the major role. So when we are trying to develop the model, so the mathematical aspect is important. So before afternoon going to the hand-on practice, the data, we will circulate the data. You understand the data. Based on the data, what we are going to do, that we can see. So here I will explain the problem what we are going to work on in the afternoon session using the Enlogic software. The problem is e-bike. So when we are talking about the e-bike, so basically the people are currently we are using the motorized vehicle, so which is fuelless petrol, and if you want to change the people usage from the motorized vehicle to the electrical bike, how we can study, or what are the probability. So that has to be studied. So the objective of the research is to develop the model which can predict the probability of the individual person's behavior, how he is willing to change his mode from motorized two-wheeler to the electrical two-wheeler. So this is the things we have to model using that Enlogic software with the aim of encouraging electric bike in Indian conditions. So basically what we are doing in the sense, we are doing the different kind of the analysis. First one is the descriptive analysis. Okay, so descriptive analysis is nothing but what is the distributions. So you might be having the male, female, adult, older, okay, as well as different kind of the income ranges. So like that different kind of the variables are there. In the variable itself different kind of the subcategories are there. How all these subcategories are classified from the collected data, that can be predicted and studied using the descriptive statistical analysis. Once we understand about the data, second we are trying to develop the model. So it is in a mode shift model. Basically, it is 0 or 1. So if they want to use the same motorized transportations, 1. If they want to change to the electrical vehicle, then motorized means it is 0. Electrical vehicle in the sense it is a 1. So it is a traveling 0 to 1. If the probability is less than 0.5, it is towards the 0, or it is greater than 0.5, it is considering as a 1. That means he is willing to the adopt the electrical bike. So those kind of the model can be developed by adopting that logic model. So logic is nothing but here 0 or 1. It is a binary data. So we are going to develop the binary logic model. So this is one objective, how the binary logic model can be developed in Enlogic software that we can see. This is in a binary data. Definitely we have to develop on the binary logic model. Second will be the regressions. So not all are working in the same problem. So you might be working some other problem and you want to develop the regression equations. Y is nothing but your dependent variable x1 to n. It might be the 10 or the 15 or the 20. You might be having the plenty of independent variable. So you want to develop the regressions equations. So that is also we can see how we can develop the regressions equations using the Enlogic software. Example, you might be tested your lab, and if you want to predict something, example, if you want to predict the temperature or the failure, so you might be having the various independent variable, strength, temperature, okay, and the width, or so many variables you might be having. But when in the final model we can't incorporate all the models, you need to incorporate only significant variable. How the significant variables are estimated and the significant variables are incorporated for developing that particular model, that we can see in that regressions model development in the afternoon session. So this is the three things which we are going to see in the hands-on practice in the further session. Okay, so this is the background of the things what we are going to analyze. Okay, so the main objective of the planning is to study about the electrical vehicle, and we are trying to develop the some of the mathematical model in the planning aspect, and we can see how this three steps model can be adopted. So this is with respect to our data, and your research might be focused on something different. In case in the what we can say Enlogic, as I told that Python distributions also model, also you can develop negative binomial. When it is coming to the two scale, it is a binary logic. When your data might be having 1, 2, 3, 4, it is an order data. So how we can develop that order data? So that case you can develop the ordered probic model. That is also feasible if it is in order. If it is not in order, but it is categorized 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it is categorized, but it is not in a order. In that case, what we can do, you can adopt the cumulative logistic regressions also. So that is also feasible in the Enlogic software. So that is the one thing using that Enlogic software. Next one will be the nested logic model. So in the nested logic model, Yes, in Enlogic software, so nested logic also possible. Example, if you want to choose an your journey, okay, if you are traveling from your origin to destinations, okay, in the destinations it is nothing but your journey. You might be having the different kind of the vehicle. So to you want to make the different kind, you have the two classifications. One is your personal vehicle, and the second will be the public transportation. In that public transportations, you have the bus as well as you have the train. So how we are going to choose your transportations mode? The probability might be 0 to 1, but how it is distributed in the nested manner, that is also studied. Even personalized vehicle also two classifications we can see, the two-wheeler as well as the car, which one you are going to choose. So the nested logic model also can be applied using that Enlogic software. So this is the things we can analyze using the Enlogic software. In the sessions, afternoon sessions, we can start with respect to the available options, and we can narrow down it to the descriptive analysis as well as the two type of the model, regressions and the binary logic model. So here I'm concluding in the today's sessions. Is there any doubt from the today presentation? So the organizing committee, I think they have circulated the Enlogic software. So it is in a not on it is in a not on a, what we can say latest edition. It is an older editions. So for that we you might be received this kind of the folder Enlogic folder. If you're double clicking, you can able to see all these facilities. So to work on Enlogic software, there is a no need to install pre-installations are not required. So here you might be having the different kind of the options. Here you can see Enlogic application. So in that Enlogic applications, if you are doing the double click, the app will get open. So it is a kind of app only, mobile app only. So without pre-installations, we can open on it. Example, you can enter your name and you can give your institution, NIT, or whatever institute your institutions you can give. There's no need to give the serial number, and you can click OK. So directly it will get open. Okay. So Enlogic software. So today afternoon we are going to work on hand-on practice in that Enlogic software. How the planning problems are going to solve using that Enlogic model by developing the theoretical model. So using that we are trying to adopt that model. So to get the data, so I will circulate the link and then we will share the data. So using the data, afternoon we are going to work on for the modeling aspect. So Dr. Girish, have you forwarded that analogy to the participants or yet to share?
No, no, sir. It is forwarded yesterday itself. We
Okay,
have sent
yesterday.
mail. I hope all the participants here
Yeah.
done it.
Okay. So the Enlogic software, there is a no need of the pre-installation. So it is a kind of app only. If you are opening that Enlogic applications directly, it will lead to the Enlogic. It is in a fourth versions. So it is an older one, but still there is no much modifications with the latest versions because we need the serial number when it is coming to the latest version. In that older versions, we can see what are the options are there and how the model is going to develop on it. For collecting the data, so I will circulate the link. You can fill that link. Then I will share the Excel sheet with Dr. Girish and he will share with everyone. So using that particular Excel sheet data, we can see how the import, export, and the various analysis we can perform in that Enlogic software. So any doubt from the today's sessions, which is related to the generalized transportations engineering and various available or the various feasible research scope in the field of traffic as well as the planning what we have discussed, and quickly we have named the various software and the applications of that particular software. And with respect to that Visum software, I think the link is shared Visum software. So you try to register with using your mail ID and you will get the link to download the trial versions. So you try to install the trial versions, then you can work on it. But when you're trying to use the trial versions, we have the limitations of the creating the road network and the simulation time and all. So that limitations is there with respect to the demo version. But we will see the maximum possibilities we can able to cover in that software. We can see. So any doubts or the discussions?
Thank you very much, sir. Yes. So now I request the participants to post some questions in the chat box. I request the participants to post your questions in the chat box so that the speaker can address your queries. Sir, my voice is audible, sir.
Yes, yes,
Hello?
your voice is audible. Yeah.
Okay. Sir, thank you for your nice presentation, sir, on transportation research and various softwares that are available, and we were able to know it.
Yeah.
And maybe the scholars and the faculty who are attending this may help their students to work on it.
Mm.
So, someone is asking, is there any application to measure degree of compaction? What is it?
So I'm not getting exactly what is his
That
question.
compaction refers to, yeah, compaction refers to what in terms of. I request the Sudhar
Maybe
Sidhuram
related to the payment in the sense, yeah. So yeah, so that
subject
is the
soil,
difference.
yeah.
Yes, I have shown that
IIT
of
pay.
IIT pay can pays are there when we are trying to design that elements, structural elements of the your road. So by considering the various, even we can see the various failures, you can study and analyze the various failures also using that particular IIT pay can be in that particular angle. So whatever the inputs, existing inputs that we can able to adopt it. I'm not work on it whether the degree of compaction has to be considered in that software, but it is possible if you're using that particular IIT pay or can pay.
That we will see, sir. Hands-on practice they're asking. That we will work out in the future, maybe.
Yeah, actually, I'm a bit worried whether I can able to see this. I'm not sure whether I can able to, because afternoon if you're touching
Yes, sir.
Enlogic, that is go for at least 2 hours. So in the within a Visum is hardly it will take so much time, and hands-on
We
practice.
will separately have in maybe next time with the
Yeah.
different sessions.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
There is another question in the chat box. Will you able to see?
Yes, India is in transition sessions in the field of transportation. How the present planning and the design will be compatible with record in future. Yes, we are in the transitions period, but when it is coming to the planning and the design, so we are working on it. Okay, so when we are talking about the existing state, existing conditions, it is not fulfilling with respect to the future projections. So that is the reasons we are working on and bringing the various solutions. Example, when we are talking about that smart city projects and all, each cities are selected and the various advanced technologies are we are bringing in that particular smart city project. Once we are implemented, then that can be feasible and to achieve that requirement. So that is in one angle, the main project, the smart city project, how we are making the comfortability level for the requirement. Then the secondary level is with respect to that, what we can say, various projects are floated by the National Highway Authority of India, CRRI, even IRC committees also. They are encouraging the various institutions, academicians like IITs and NITs and other researchers also So they are adopting any highways or this national highway or the state highway. They are working on that particular corridor, and they are bringing the various solutions by considering the future scenario. So that solutions can be implemented on that field. So yes, when we are talking about the planning and the designs, various research projects are already floated under the smart city or under the various funding sources from the DST or the CRRI. So, and the various committees are working on that particular problem. If the existing conditions are fulfilling for the future 2050 year scenarios, it can be leave it like that, or else based on that requirement, the things are what we can say provided by considering the future scenarios.
Participants having any other questions? You can even unmute and talk. The feedback link will be given after this hands-on, because we are having the hands-on experience today and tomorrow. So, and today and tomorrow sessions will have a common feedback link.
So actually, I have posted one link in the chat box. So basically, afternoon we are going to work on the planning related work, particularly for that electrical bike. So if you, I request all the participants to fill that form. So while filling the form itself, you will understand with respect to the planning problem why the questionnaire actually floated here, and what we are going to project on it in the afternoon session. So that will be easy to understand, because afternoon that directly I'm going to jump with respect to the data and the modeling aspect. So I request all the participants, I think here 84 people are there. So with respect to the 80 data, how we can develop the binary logic model and the regressions model, that we can see in that afternoon sessions. Okay. So to get the technical aspect of the afternoon presentations or the hands-on practice, I request all the participants to fill this. Then only you will get the clarity of that transportation planning problem, why we want to adopt that Enlogic software. Once you get the knowledge, and if you're working on that particular sheet or the data, then you get on a full clarity what kind of the model we are trying to model, how the model is going to useful for that applications. So that is the reasons I'm floating that form. So I request again all the participants to fill that form. Then I will share the Excel sheet with you, the coordinator, and he will share the data with you for before the session starts.
Yes, sir. I'll once again share this link to you even through mail also,
Yeah, sure.
so that the participants can able. Yeah. That's it. We'll meet again in the afternoon session. You can wind up the Madhuswami sir. In